And really fast footage to get to Burbank, to get to the Warner Brothers studio tour. Burbank's a lovely city. Wish we spent more time there. There's also a Dunkin' there. So yes, we were doing the Warner Brothers tour. Now the first part of this 3.5, 4-hour tour is a golf cart tour, which we couldn't really take a lot of footage of because of things filming there right now. But we did get to see some stuff from Young Sheldon, the outside of the Big Bang Theory apartment, not looking like the outside of the building. That's Young Sheldon. Animaniacs. And the Stars Hollow, and we got to do some really cool tour stuff, but we couldn't take a lot of pictures. The second part is Central Perk, where you can get food and drink, some great food and drink there, and a Friends store. But the big thing here is you get to sit on the Friends couch, the Big Bang Theory couch, a bunch of like Batmobile, Harry Potter stuff. You get to go through a sound mixing presentation, which we did for Gravity. That is Michael Keaton's Batman cowl. But this starts the second hour of the tour. And the first hour of the tour was great, but again, I couldn't really show you a lot of that footage. But they show you where things were filmed. And they explain how Warner Brothers is an open studio. So if you pay, you can film there. It does not matter which production house you are from. I do not know how I didn't cry at this point. Obviously, we didn't take pictures on the Friends couch, but we did for Big Bang Theory. I loved seeing these sets and costumes in person. You all know how much this show meant to me. And these are pictures my mom took while we were getting the professional pictures taken. And it was such a surreal experience to sit on the couch in Sheldon's spot. And there's a professional picture. And then, here's some horrible footage of me riding the broom. Property of Warner Brothers. Yeah, you didn't want to see that full video. It was kind of bad. Here's my dad while we were waiting for the pictures, doing a really cool, like, Dobby making him move thing. So then after doing all this stuff, we got some drinks and some really good, they have like snacky foods and like basic lunch foods in Central Perk. It was really good, really good. And after this, you know, I also got another ornament with Bazingo on it that looks like that. Then you go into the third part, which is primarily DC and Wizarding World, and a lot of the stuff is from the newer movies that you first see. So, for example, you saw the Batman, the new Robert Pattinson Batman, and the Secrets of Dumbledore stuff first. And you might be wondering, does it really take 3 to 4 hours? Yes. Between eating, doing all the stuff, taking pictures. You know, that first part of the tour is an hour, and then you can spend as much time as you want shopping, walking around, doing stuff, taking pictures, all this great stuff. Warner Brothers tour, highly worth it, highly affordable. Burbank is such a gorgeous area. You get off the exit, and right there is Disney Animation Studios, and right there is Warner Brothers. It is a gorgeous area. I wish we had spent more time in. I will gladly go back and do that again. Shazam, Zach Levi. Levi, sorry. I meant the man. Why did I call him Zach Levi? Not Zach, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what I'm even talking about anymore. Sorry, Zachary Levi. But yeah, this tour is so worth the money. It is so worth the money. I did not get a picture with the lasso from Wonder Woman because that line was long. But it's incredible to see all of these things. I mean, that's from The Dark Knight. Come on, one of the best superhero movies of all time. It was unreal. That is Linda Carter and the late great Christopher Reeves and late great Adam West's costumes. Come on, come on. And then you go into the Wizarding World section and you see stuff from the first movies. Like, this stuff is 20 years old, guys. Come on. Like, it's incredible that it's still in good shape. It's also incredible that I am short enough that I can fit in the cupboard under the stairs. And again, a lot of great photo ops. My dad had a really fun time in this photo op, so did my mom. But again, this tour is worth the money. We wish we had known about some other tours like Paramount and Henson and Sony. I know Nickelodeon's in Burbank. Oh, here's my dad getting sorted. Hold on.
There's nothing hidden in your head for sorting and can't see. So try me on, and I will tell you where you ought to be.
Ah, your boldness knows no bounds. Yes, yeah. You're clearly
Gryffindor!
He's always said he was Slytherin. But after, this is kind of like towards the end, and then you get to go in this gorgeous store, which even though I only bought 2 things, because I bought the Friends Holiday Armadillo ornament in the Friends store, I spent easily a half hour there. So we were easily there for 4.5 hours. It was absolutely fantastic. We wish we had known about some of the other studios, as I was saying. Again, highly recommend. But I did some manifesting. There it is. Yes, that thing is actually 8.5 pounds. That's why they hold it that way. But after this, we headed to downtown Los Angeles. We head to downtown LA to go to the Academy of Motion Pictures Museum, which is right next to the La Brea Tar Pits and across from the Automobile Museum. So if you want to go there, go there. It is the Academy Awards Museum. It actually has some really good pricing, especially for seniors, and it's honestly not that expensive at all. I do want to let you guys know a few things. First thing is, like any museum, exhibits come and go. I do know I'm recording this in September. The Wizard of Oz exhibit goes at the end of October, and I want to say it's the Spike Lee exhibit, but I could be wrong. Also leaves sometime in the fall. But as you can see, it's not fully like just about the awards show itself. Yes, you see clips from this year's awards show and important clips from awards show past, but it is also incorporating things like this watch that Paul Newman's wife gave him upon becoming an Academy Award nominee. This is the start of the Spike Lee room. One other thing I do want to say is that it is a newer museum, so there isn't as much as you think there would be, rotating exhibits aside. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And also, it is a museum about film. You're going to see a lot of concept art. You're going to see a lot of clips from films projected on screens everywhere. Just so you know. So now we're getting into the actual museum. Yes, those are the actual ruby slippers that Judy wore on her feet. How I did not cry in this room, I do not know. There's the Wiz poster, followed by the Wizard of Oz. I am sad there's not enough from the Wiz or Return to Oz or any of the other Oz movies, but this still was such a cool exhibit to see, given all the stuff with the Wizard of Oz. Those are actual like first edition books and pieces of script. Like, everyone's seen the footage of like Judy being blonde and like all that stuff, or you know that there was a stand-in for the sepia tone, so that when it came time to open the door and it was the colorful tone, it was actually Judy coming out. You'll see both those dresses there. It's like so cool. Just so cool to see this piece of history. I love it so much. Again, there's your concept art. Like I told you, you're going to be seeing a lot of concept art. So again, beautiful exhibit. If you did get the chance to go before it left and everything, you'll love it. Now we're moving on to the costume section. So it's not just costumes from Academy Award winning films or nominated for costume. It could be something that somebody wore. Like, for example, this is Lupita Nyong'o's costume from Us. Lupita Nyong'o didn't win an Oscar for Us. She should have been nominated, but obviously she is an Academy Award winner. The big draw here is Florence Pugh's Midsommar dress right here, the flower dress. And then it moves on into makeup. A little bit of a trigger warning here. You're going to see some faces. Those are life casts. That's Mel Brooks. That's a really cool, like, wig. It's, like, talked about the history of the wigs for Eddie Murphy's film Dolomite. That's Leo DiCaprio's chest for The Revenant. Teeth, told you, trigger warning. And then that is Charlize Theron's prosthetics for the film Monster, which she won her Academy Award for. Then you get into the animation exhibit. Now, obviously, we start with Warner Brothers. You did see some of this in the Warner Brothers tour earlier that morning. But this animation exhibit was one of my favorite exhibits. You got to see concept art. You got to see what that some things didn't change, or that, yes, this is the final product that you know. For example, we all know that's Jack Skellington. That's all his different heads from when they made Nightmare Before Christmas. We know that's Bugs Bunny, but an earlier edition. We know that's Frankenweenie. Like, come on, you know that's Frankenweenie. You know that Coraline pretty much ended up close to this. You know that that's exactly what Kubo and the Two Strings looked like. You know that that is the fantastic Mr. Fox. My buddies Wallace and Gromit here were actually one of the ones that didn't change a lot from concept art. That, however, is what Buzz Lightyear used to look like. Yes, Buzz Lightyear. You're going to see Woody in a second. shocking, right? That's like an in-between, I believe, because Olaf kind of switched a bit. That's Shrek and Fiona right before the final art that we know of, according to those little placards that you can't see what it's written. Same with Up. That's like right before they got officially done. That's obviously like the OG original Seven Dwarfs. And Inside Out. What I really liked about, and that's Sleeping Beauty, but what I really liked about this is you're going to see it in a second, where they talk about directing emotion for Inside Out. Animation also relies heavily on voiceover actors. We all know that with Robin Williams doing improv for Aladdin. It relies heavily on emotion, and that's another reason why I loved this exhibit so much. It truly one of the best exhibits in this museum, and one of the ones that does not have that empty feeling that I mentioned earlier on because it's a new exhibit. So this Mighty Joe Young poster leads us into the sci-fi, superhero, fantasy element. One of the first things you see in this room is the Academy Award-winning Black Panther costume of Denai Guerrero as Okoye in Black Panther. And then you go to like R2-D2, the Dark Crystal. There's a lot of stuff from the Dark Crystal here, which I was so enthralled that Henson donated this. I didn't even know that Dark Crystal had such a deep connection to the Academy Awards. So there is stuff that you will definitely learn. E.T., C-3PO, I told you, sci-fi, fantasy, superhero. That's the Terminator. Like, come on. That's an orc. This is the model of Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin's home from the Tim Burton Batman. You're going to see Gary Oldman's Dracula costume. There it is. You're going to see the Lego Oscar. And this next exhibit that you're going to see, as a lot of people know, especially after the film Inglourious Basterds came out, nitrate film burns. There is so much history lost due to nitrate film burning. Particularly a lot of BIPOC filmmaking history was lost. That is Louis Armstrong's trumpet, by the way, was lost. We do need to continue to work on preserving our history and recognizing what went wrong, because it is important. What we were able to preserve, like this Lena Horne dress, we were able to see a clip of her in the dress. Those are Nicholas Brothers shoes, but we do need to do better. All in all, that was the end of this day. We went back, had dinner somewhere, I forget where, and we love that little thing. And you're going to see a clip of Luke Evans as Beauty and the Beast, Gaston and Beauty and the Beast, because we were so tired. And here's day 4. Yeah, you want Catella.
There's Carland. I just saw the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
That's Catella Way, yeah.
And then on Disney.
Avenue, I should say.
Yeah.
Grand reopening September. I don't think they're going to make it September. Where might? September's next week.
They're working on Sundays there because just saw a guy walk out of the GC's trailer. Or the site trailer, I should say.
There's the
Anaheim Convention Center.
Yep.
Oh man, that's beautiful. It looks like the Legion of Doom's,
yes.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
It looks like the Legion of Doom. Okay, here's downtown Disney, right here.
Obviously, you saw the hotels, and that's the monorail. We entered downtown Disney. They do have their own version of the Lego store, but our goal was to head to Splitsville. We have never done it in Disney Springs, and while we didn't eat there, I love that, by the way. While we didn't eat there, we did want to experience bowling there. It's actually a really good deal. I do forget the pricing. I'm so sorry. But for 3 to 4 people, it's like an hour and 10 minutes, however many games you want. I scored 1. For one of our last games. I literally scored a 1. And it was a lot of fun and big. I don't know how big it is in Disney Springs, but it was big here, especially since downtown Disney is small here. You wouldn't think it was that big. So then we went and we did some shopping, and we eventually went back to the hotel. For the hotel pool, I will say really quickly, please teach your children water safety. That's all I'm going to say. It was very scary. That's the Disneyland Hotel right there. We walked by the Grand California, and that's what you saw. So we headed back to the hotel, and then we eventually came back for dinner. I wasn't able to get a reservation, but we were able to get walk-ups for Naples. But first we did some shopping, and then I'll get into Naples. But first we did some shopping. That's actually the entrance to Ralph Burton's Jazz Kitchen, where we ate a little bit later in the trip. That was in one of the shops. I loved that. And their downtown Disney is thinner, not as big. I loved these signs that they had at World of Disney, which is somehow connected to, and yes, I did get that Bruno shirt, which is somehow connected to the Grand Floridian. That was Californian is what I wanted to say. Oh my God, I'm not in Florida. Why do I keep doing this? So we ate at Naples, which is actually owned by the same people that own Via Napoli. Those little calzone appetizers, panzerotti, need to come to Via Napoli now. The Caesar salad was great. I had chicken parm. My dad had eggplant parm. My mom just had plain old spaghetti and meatballs, and it was divine. I actually had a club soda drink I hadn't had in years. I love this little sign. I love it so much. And then after that, we were able to leave and go chill at the hotel. We went back around the way, so I was able to get that cool shot, and that's the end of day 4. Join us for the next part, everybody.